Do you even qualify for sponsorships? Who SponsorKit.pro is really for? You do not need 100,000 followers to get sponsored. I started reaching out to my first sponsors when I had 10,000 subscribers. And then at the time I was about to reach 40,000 subscribers, we signed a contract worth just under $400,000 a year. You do not need 1 million subscribers. You do not need a ton of viral videos. What you actually need is 500, 1,000 people maybe who trust you. Today, I'm going to show you exactly who this platform is really for and why your audience size is the absolute least important part of the entire sponsorship equation. I'm Roger Wakefield. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer of Sponsorships. In the United States, I've grown to be one of the biggest voices in plumbing and the trades, and I have negotiated massive brand deals. I have built businesses that generate real, predictable revenue. But when I first started, I believed the exact same lie that you probably believe right now. I believed I had to wait until I was massive. Finally, at 10,000 subs, I realized, look, I've got a lot of people that listen to me. Here's the deal. There's a massive, deliberate misconception in the creator economy. There is a gatekeeper mentality pushed by the industry that tells you that sponsorships are only for the mega influencers. The people at the very top want you to believe that you have to reach some magical invisible milestone before you're allowed to ask for a brand for money, or you can ask them for money and then they can really, really lowball you. Why do they want you to believe that? Because as long as you are sidelined by your own imposter syndrome, the top 1% of creators, they get to keep the majority of all the big brand budgets. They're using your hesitation to line their own pockets. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which SponsorKit.pro plan fits your current stage of business. And you will understand why waiting to get sponsored is the most expensive mistake of your career. So let's start with the smallest group, the small creators. And really, that's the biggest group because most creators stay small because they get in it thinking, I'm going to make money, but they don't have anything like SponsorKit.pro to help them. And then before long, they realize, look, I'm making a ton of videos and it's not turning anything, and they give up. If you have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 to 10,000 followers, listen to me closely. You qualify for sponsorships right now. Most small creators think brands will laugh at them if they pitch a deal. But here's the insider secret that the big agencies don't want you to know. Huge brands are actually exhausted by massive influencers. I talked to someone and they're like, Roger, look, you're too big for us to work with, which is crazy because I generate 100,000 times as many views as the other people that they're dealing with. I don't charge 100,000 times more. When a brand pays a creator with 5 million followers, they pay an astronomical fee. And half the time, that creator's audience is so broad and so generic that nobody actually buys the product. It's great for awareness, but nobody's buying their product. Brands are shifting their money to micro communities. They care about your niche. They care about your engagement rate. They care about audience fit. If you have 2,000 followers, but every single one of them hangs on every word you say, you're a goldmine for the right brand. You offer trust, and trust converts into sales far better than viral dance videos ever will. But here's the catch. Because you have a smaller audience, you cannot afford to look like an amateur. If you send a poorly formatted email from a Gmail account with a messy PDF media kit that you just threw together, the brand is immediately going to dismiss you. SponsorKit.pro fixes this. When you use our system to build a customized 6-card pitch deck, it's sponsor first. You instantly look like a professional media company. You're going to be sending out the same media kit that I'm going to be sending out, the same 6-card pitch deck. The brand doesn't see a small creator. They see a highly organized, data-driven partner. The rookie or creator plans, they're ideal for getting your feet wet. They'll do it. You could get a $400,000 sponsorship off one media kit. Now, here's where it actually scales. Let's talk about the mid-level creators and the entrepreneurs, the ones that are serious about their business. If you have a growing YouTube channel, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, it doesn't matter where you're at. Your podcast is massive. A dedicated podcast is worth a fortune. Or maybe you're just a local business with a strong email list. You are generating traffic. And in the modern economy, if you generate traffic, you generate value. The problem is that mid-level creators are usually completely overwhelmed. We get busy. We're running one channel, multiple videos, multiple platforms. We're spread thin. You're wearing every hat. You're the editor, the writer, the host, the salesperson. You're doing it all. And what used to take us 8 to 10, 12 hours doing research, figuring out who we want to send this to, make sure our pitch deck was them specific. That used to take 8 to 10 hours, 8 to 12 hours. Now we do it in about 15 minutes. We do it with SponsorKit.pro. The problem you're having is a mid-tier or even a high-tier creator. You're doing a lot of this alone. You're leaving massive amounts of money on the table. You're guessing at your valuation. You're forgetting to follow up with brands, and you're losing track of your social media metrics. This is where the SponsorKit.pro Pro plan becomes absolutely mandatory. At this level, you aren't just sending an email a week. You need to be pitching multiple sponsors every day. The Pro plan unlocks our advanced social tracking, our deep valuation tools, and the volume outreach necessary to build a predictable pipeline of revenue. You stop hoping for lucky breaks. You start running your platform like a Fortune 500 business. And finally, if you are a high-level operator, you're playing a completely different game. You don't need a tool. You need a complete sponsorship department. That is exactly what the Sponsor Kit Pro Plus tier is designed for. At the Pro Plus level, we're talking about enterprise infrastructure. We're talking about managing up to 360 sponsor opportunities every single month. We're talking about fully automated decks, complex follow-up sequences involving billing, invoicing, the deep analytics. This is how creators build scalable, multi-million-dollar recurring revenue streams. Is this right for you? Influence without a monetization system is just unpaid labor. The brands are making money off the attention that you generated. Doesn't that piss you off? It absolutely should. For years, the system has relied on you doing the exhausting, grinding work of building the audience, communicating with them, delivering the message while they swoop in and buy your attention for pennies on the dollar. Simply because you didn't have the data to prove your worth. It is time to flip the script. If you influence anyone, whether online, on stage, in your local community, you qualify. SponsorKit.pro is your unfair advantage. But having influence, being a creator isn't enough. You must have the capacity to capture its value. That is why our most successful, highest earning users do not mess around with the basic tiers. They're in this for the business. They jump straight into SponsorKit Pro and Pro Plus because Pro gives you the volume, the automation, and the data tracking necessary to go from a hobbyist asking for a favor to a media powerhouse commanding a premium partnership. Do not let another brand exploit your hard work. Click the link below and lock in SponsorKit Pro or Pro Plus right now and make them pay what you're actually worth. If that's not the level you're at, look at the rookie and the creator. It can get you started and help you get to that next level. SponsorKit.pro, it's your turn to be on top.